Maya, a 29-year-old new mother, slowly regained awareness in a public hospital room in Queens. Her body felt heavy and distant, drained after hours of difficult labor. The air around her carried the sharp scent of disinfectant, mixed with the soft, mechanical hum of medical equipment. Everything felt muted, as if the world had been wrapped in cotton. She blinked, trying to focus, and gradually remembered where she was and why. 3 bassinets stood nearby, each holding a tiny life she had carried with hope, fear, and determination. Before she could fully process the miracle of her children resting safely beside her, the door opened. Her husband, Andrew, stepped inside. He was impeccably dressed, his suit pressed, his shoes polished. He looked more like a business associate stopping by briefly than a man who had just become a father. He did not ask how she felt. He did not look at the babies. Instead, he walked straight to her bedside, placed a thick legal envelope on the blanket, and asked her to sign it immediately. His voice was flat and controlled. He accused Maya of holding him back, of becoming a burden instead of a partner. He spoke of the children as complications, not blessings. In a single moment, the fragile joy she had expected after childbirth shattered into disbelief and pain. Maya stared at him, her mind struggling to keep up with the cruelty of his words. This was not exhaustion speaking. This was intention. Andrew did not soften when he saw the shock on her face. With unsettling calm, he admitted that another woman was waiting downstairs and that he had no intention of staying. He dismissed Maya's belief that parenthood would strengthen their marriage, calling it naive and impractical. He spoke of the other woman with quiet admiration, praising her confidence, her social standing, and the family connections that could elevate his career. Maya realized then that every promise Andrew had made during her pregnancy had been carefully crafted lies. He added that he would arrange a modest monthly allowance and nothing more. Without glancing at the babies, he turned and walked out. The door closed softly behind him, sealing Maya inside the most vulnerable moment of her life. Collapsed beside the bassinets, Maya struggled to steady her breathing. Her chest tightened as despair threatened to overwhelm her. Tears blurred her vision, but before grief could take full control, a gentle knock interrupted the silence. An elderly man entered, followed by several formally dressed professionals. His presence was calm, deliberate, and respectful. He addressed Maya by a name she had not heard spoken aloud in many years. The sound of it sent a quiet shock through her body. He apologized for how long it had taken to find her, and explained that her disappearance had never been forgotten. Maya felt as though the room had shifted. The same space where she had been dismissed and humiliated now felt charged with something unfamiliar. The man explained that Maya's father had passed away 3 days earlier. Before his death, he had legally amended his will. After years of searching, he had chosen to leave everything to his only daughter. The lawyer stepped forward, confirming the details with steady professionalism. Maya was now the majority shareholder of a global family enterprise and the sole beneficiary of an estate valued at more than $5 billion. The number felt unreal, especially when contrasted with the small allowance Andrew had offered moments earlier. Grief did not disappear, but it transformed. Shock sharpened into clarity. Heartbreak began its quiet evolution into resolve. As the meaning of the document settled in, Maya realized she had spent years shrinking herself to preserve a marriage that offered no protection. She had softened her voice, ignored her instincts, and convinced herself that endurance was loyalty. What she inherited was not just wealth, it was choice. Choice over how she healed, choice over how her children would be protected, choice over who would be allowed into their lives. The pain Andrew left behind no longer controlled her. In its place grew a steady calm. Maya was no longer defined by abandonment. She was beginning to define herself. Another truth soon emerged. The business Andrew frequently praised as his own success story had repeatedly hovered on the edge of collapse. Each time, discreet financial support had arrived just in time to stabilize it. As Maya reviewed records, she realized she herself had authorized those interventions, believing she was supporting a shared future. Andrew never knew the source, and she had never corrected him. Now, seeing the full picture, Maya understood how deeply misplaced her trust had been. She felt no anger, only certainty. She would no longer sacrifice her strength to preserve someone else's illusion of success. Andrew's professional world unraveled quickly. Credit lines were restricted. Suppliers demanded payment. Lawsuits followed unpaid contracts. While panic spread through his office, appearances still mattered to him. Maya made a decisive move. His final opportunity, a high-stakes real estate acquisition, vanished when a competing bidder quietly exceeded his maximum offer. Funds he had borrowed with confidence disappeared overnight. What Andrew called betrayal was simply consequence. Confidence collapsed into fear. The image he had built could no longer hold. Weeks later, Maya made her first public appearance as chairwoman of the Prescott Group at a prestigious gala held at the Plaza Hotel. She arrived with composed authority, her posture steady, her expression calm. Conversations slowed as people recognized her presence. Across the room, Andrew froze. Recognition dawned too late. He rushed toward her, attempting familiarity, speaking her name as if nothing had changed. Maya corrected him gently but firmly. She introduced herself as Miss Maya Prescott and reminded him, without bitterness, that he had walked away hours after their children were born. When he mentioned business, she declined immediately, citing leadership standards and ethical values. No scene followed, no raised voices. The room understood. Applause filled the space, not for humiliation, but for clarity. Public defeat did not bring Andrew reflection. It brought desperation. He reshaped the narrative, portraying himself as a victim and allowing rumors to question Maya's priorities as a mother. Maya recognized the manipulation instantly. She did not respond emotionally. She documented everything quietly, preparing with patience. This was no longer about reputation. It was about protecting her children from being used as leverage. In court, Maya did not argue with emotion. She let evidence speak. Verified recordings revealed attempts to manipulate custody. Independent audits exposed serious misconduct. The ruling was decisive. Andrew permanently lost parental rights and faced criminal accountability. Maya did not celebrate. She did not look back. She walked forward with focus and calm. This story is not about revenge or money. It is about boundaries, about responsibility, about integrity. Love does not require self-erasure. Parenthood is not a bargaining tool, and true strength does not announce itself loudly. It is quiet, disciplined, and protective. Choosing peace is not weakness. It is the most powerful decision a person can make.